No, click on live and it's not there.
You're live. Do you want to click on there and tell me again?
Yeah, sure. Oh yeah, live baby.
Yeah. Awesome. Do you know what? You know when I was saying it was really hard to figure out? Turns out there's a button that says go live.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, I know. I wouldn't have even considered checking that.
Can you apologise to Mr. YouTube now, please?
No.
Thank you.
Actually, yeah, I will. No, he's doing good by us. Actually, is he doing good by us? We just hit 100 subscribers, or we're just over, but it's still not giving me the ability to set my custom URL. So.
Okay, we got 103.
103, yeah. Hi.
Yeah, because I was 99, which shows that I maybe should have subscribed earlier, being a member of the network of the podcast.
Yeah.
But, we got there.
I'm waiting to get the reason why we wanted 100 so desperately is to get that custom URL, and it's still not giving me the option to set it. I want to get my new cards printed out.
Mr. YouTube's busy. Okay, he's got the Pewdies to look after.
He's got the Logan Pauls.
He's got the Pauls. He's got so many people to look after. Okay, we are merely an ant in the world of YouTube, and it's fine. He'll get to us. He'll bless us with rain one day and grain.
Desperate for that / site name.
Yeah, aren't we all? Just living for that /
I put in extra effort today for this, so I went through my mug cupboard looking for the most gamer mug I could find. Though I am aware, I should have worn the PlayStation cap instead. What's that? Bane.
Sure, I just went for Bane today. Bane.
I had some Batman ones I could have done, but yeah, I should have gone for the PlayStation cap instead, so it doesn't look, because I've got the Xbox's Tokyo thing behind me, and then the hat,
True.
and then I've got green ears, hence you can't quite see them. And my Halo mug.
Gundam. Does that Gundam have a name? Is it an official?
I don't know. I hope it
Xbox
is.
Gundam?
It's definitely official, as in, they made it. It's from their artwork, and it's the coolest looking thing.
Yeah, it's rad. I know that obviously Japan take their Gundams very seriously, so I didn't know whether it is now being it is an official mech of some sort in the canon of the mechaverse.
I want to add to my fanboyism and get a little model of it. Anyway, hang on a second. Welcome to the Gaming Manifesto, the official gaming podcast of robot-republic.com. Because we're doing this live, I'll put a dash in there. My name's Callie, and here with me, as always, we have Marcus.
Hello, everybody.
And today we're going to be talking about mostly the Tokyo Game Show, talk a little bit about what we've been playing, and it depends. I mean, this is going out live, so really, if anyone joins us, good morning, hey, Gina. Guinness, sorry, I was on his show last Saturday. It was like a 2.5 hour. The one, in fact, yeah, this is. Sorry, I just seen P. Spencer Gundam. This is Marcus, who would have been on the show, but he had other things to do.
I've got to call right. This is going to start the beef. I'm going to call you out. Right? I think you think that I'm too big for my own boots, and I'm Mr. Celebrity, and I don't listen to the podcast I'm not on. But I do, Callie. I listen to those podcasts because I'm a good, dutiful member of the Robot Republic. And you said on the last podcast that Marcus couldn't be asked to be on the podcast. That's not true.
It is not true.
No, it's not true. I just decided I'm better than you. Be on it. It's very different.
You were recording a different podcast with Glitch. The Better Gaming Manifesto, as it's called.
Yeah, I ran off with my internet boyfriend Glitch. And we were recording things. No, I was just being super, super busy with adult mortgage stuff and boring things that we don't need to talk about because we've got a giant robot behind Callie. That's more interesting than mine.
No. I want to talk about what you've been up to, your adult life. It's not. I mean, you say adult life. We're not really adults, are we?
Not really. I spent most of the weekend. The reason on Saturday where I couldn't do the Xbox Live show. Sorry, everybody, but Callie did an amazing job and stepped in. So a clap for him.
Wait, I stepped into my own. Yeah, okay, carry on.
You stepped in. You stepped in because I was supposed to be doing it. I was at a tournament.
Tournaments. Some sporting tournaments.
Oh no!
Far from it.
Look at the shelves behind me and the toys that are on my shelf. It definitely was not a sporting tournament. I play miniature games, and I was doing a Marvel Crisis Protocol tournament in Plymouth. It was very good. I had a great time, but unfortunately, I got into the finals, so it went a little bit longer than I thought.
Unfortunately, you got into the finals. That's good.
Yeah,
fine. I mean,
it's pretty good.
It meant I had to step up. Like the reason why I wanted to get you onto the XBL podcast is because you're the funny one of us two, and I wanted to represent the company as best we could.
I don't. I disagree with that statement.
Thanks.
Without, like, I'm funny. Don't get me wrong, but you are my springboard. I'm
the thing you step on to get up high.
Yeah, exactly. You are the Goomba to my Mario jokes.
I'm the pratfall for your witty comments.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. Like, you are the Koopa Trooper to my Mario, and it's important. Like, I need to bounce off your head, and I pick up the shell, right, and I hold it a bit, and I let it go, and let you turn back into the Koopa you are.
Well, yeah. So, I mean, sorry, we didn't have you. And thank you. I thought we had a good time. I really enjoyed the show. So I ended up doing it from my mum's house, which was, like, inconvenient for her, I'm sure. But it was also the first time she found out I'd done any form of, like, podcasting and stuff, so I was having to explain to her. Like, I was at dinner with her when I kind of found out you couldn't make it, so I was like, oh, mum, I've just got to do some quick organising and try and find some sort of alternate thing, because I've got this whole podcast bit thing. And she was like... and then I told her, about, like, oh yeah, I've got this business, which I've told her about before, but she thought it was this other business I ran, which is just more formal than that. And I'm like, you don't have to listen.
How did that conversation go? I'm trying to explain to your elderly mother about the wider podcast.
I mean, I didn't really go into it too much stuff. I just said it's like radio, but pre-recorded.
Sweet.
That's a good way to just get over it. They know what radio
that is a legit predetermined sentence to have in your back pocket. What I learned about in terms of her interest, though, is, like, despite me having told her about Robot Republic before, she had no idea I had this, like, internet company. When I told her I was going as a press to Comic-Con, she thought I had just scammed some press passes, not that I was actually being press. She thought it was some Catch Me If You Can, Leonardo.
Yeah, she didn't.
Style.
The interest she takes in it is very minimal, and that's fine because I don't really tend to share too much. So I was like, I'm okay with that.
Well, this is what I'm going to pitch now. I'm going to pitch a way that you can build a bridge to your mum.
Okay.
What interest does she have? We'll make a podcast about it.
This makes it sound really sad, but I guess drinking, like...
Oh, okay.
No, I mean, she's not, like... I don't know what her interests are, really. She's gone on holidays drinking and, like, being a lady of leisure, really. That's pretty much it.
Okay, well, I'm going to announce it here now. We're going to do the Callie and Mum podcast where they get to know each other more.
I don't really want to know my mum that much more, to be honest. I'm alright. I know her well enough.
Stories and anecdotes.
Yeah, but the thing is, if they're anything similar to the sort of stories I could tell, I don't want to know about my mum.
I want to know.
Well, you might, but...
That sounds great to me.
It would be an alright podcast. Maybe that'll be some future content for Robot Republic, where we all get to know Callie's mum.
Yeah. We'll get to know her a little bit better. And Callie can, realise the joys of his mum. That sounds weird. Anyway, so my life is alright. It's been real busy. Like I said, tournaments and stuff and mortgages. Ugh, boring stuff. But
that's first world problem, isn't it, with our mortgages?
It is first world problem. I did miss the Republic because the Nintendo showcase happened, and I had a lot of
hot spicy takes to explode about Nintendo. But I just want to just go to Jim's question here, or not question. He's talking about Alpha Protocol. He's thinking of getting into that one. Does it swallow your wallet like other miniatures? Do you know Alpha Protocol? Is that the Marvel one?
Marvel Crisis Protocol is what I play. So it's a skirmish game rather than your 40k or your Warhammer like AOS's or your Mantic stuff when you need, about 50, 60 models. For this, you only need 10 models and that's it. So if you buy the core set, which is 80 quid RRP, so you can pick up a bit cheaper, like if you go to your local Flags, which is Flags is a acronym for a local gaming shop, just in case people aren't in the know-how of the miniature gaming scene. But so you buy the core set, you get 10 miniatures in it, you get everything you need to play, and then you just pick up stuff here and there. Boxes can be quite expensive. They're about 32 quid at your Flags for round 2 miniatures. But like I said, you only need 10 miniatures to play. So you just choose sort of... And what's really good with the system is normally with like Warhammer and stuff, you have a book and only particular units can be in particular armies. In this, Iron Man can fight with Red Skull. It seems weird. but it's happened in the comics.
Is it always good versus bad though? Can you have Iron Man versus another Iron Man? Like,
yeah.
Okay, so that you can have.
So you just have your 10 figures. They have your 10 figures, and then a card will come down with a number on it. You choose, how many points that game will be for that particular game, and you choose out of your 10 characters to basically come in. So the mechanically and like the theme, how they've merged it, it's like having 10 people at the Avengers mansion or in Baron Zemo's mansion or whatever, and a crisis happening, and they going, right, I'll choose you, you, and you, go sort it out, and they sort of go off and do the adventure or sort the crisis.
So it puts me off, like, because talking about, what does it eat your wallet, like, the thing that puts me off really getting into any kind of Warhammer thing is just horrendously pricey, plus I've got enough hobbies. But, like, the Kill Team one, where you only need, like, because that is, like, where you need 10 troops, right, or something like that. That seems much more appealing. I would get into it, but I just know it's going to be another thing that ends up on my shelf unplayed, so...
I think, especially Games Workshop and other companies have come to the point where we're kind of in postmodernism when it comes to gaming and hobbies. Like, so everyone has so many hobbies, especially like if you're already a nerd or a geek and you're kind of into that culture. You just have so many things. So they sort of changed things into more of a board game module now. So, with Kill Team, all you need is I say all you need is a £100 box. It's still a lot of money to like drop on something. But you buy that and that's all you need. You can play multiple games with it. Same with like Crisis. You can just buy the one box and be happy for a while and just pick up things here and there. So of course it's expensive. Like it's the same.
$100 isn't too much really. If that's everything you need, that's fine. It's when like Warhammer, different codexes, the amount of troops. Like,
well, I'm doing my Cool Boys at the moment. I don't want to turn this into the miniature podcast, but I'm doing my Cool Boys at the moment for AOS, and I'm easily dropping about 250 quid on a competitive list. It's bonkers, especially for like in 6 months it'll just get FAQ'd and be shit. So it's kind of.
So I'm looking forward. I see a lot of the sort of debates in that about 3D printing for those Warhammer models and how they look the same, and all you do is they give them like different names so they're not copyrighted, and because they don't copyright the actual look of it. For me, that's enough, because like you do pay for the power of playing the game. I have a few troops, I have a few models, and it is purely for just painting them and thinking they look cool.
I think that's fine. I think so where I sit on 3D printing, because I'm a TO, I'm basically an events organizer for Marvel Crisis Protocol here in the Southwest. And the problem is, with a game like Crisis Protocol, when you only have, you only need one model of a particular thing, if you print that out, you're taking money away from the shop, and then the shop's not going to run events or be able to run events. However, if you buy a box and 3D print out, a nice looking Bucky or a different variant, then that's fine on a casual day, like not for a tournament, but a casual day when it's like, I already have the miniature, I've paid the money, but I just like the look of this one instead. Can I use that? Yeah, sure. No problem.
Things when you see like Games Workshop and Warhammer models, I know like was it Magnus, the like demon, or sorry, the Primarch demon anyway. I think I kind of was like $80-90 or $120 or something like that, and it's probably about.
He's a lot of money, but he's a big.
It's big-ish, but it's basically because of how they're worth on the field. Which, if I'm not playing the game, I just want to collect a cool model. It's meaningless to me.
Yeah, true, and that's always sort of like the debate between the two. Like I said, with Warhammer like AOS stuff, 3D printing a whole army, I don't know, it would put me off playing against it for one. And like I said, tournaments you can't do it. I guess casual games it's fine. I don't know. I still haven't really come. I think if you print off like a champion or a hero or like conversion bits, great. That makes sense because you've got like the model already there. But I wouldn't be surprised maybe Games Workshop go down an STL route at some point.
What's that mean?
So an STL is the file which you basically 3D print stuff from.
Okay, yeah.
So it's like the CAD that you use to like print from your 3D printer. So I wouldn't be surprised maybe if Games Workshop might do STLs in the future and just sell that. But then they basically then lose the rights to people be able to like sell it on. I don't know. We're in a real weird futurist space for miniature gaming at the moment, which is both exciting and worrying when it comes to the longevity of smaller companies. Like Games Workshop will be fine. Like if you 3D print a load of stuff, it's not an issue. But smaller companies trying to come up, like 3D printing can be a real issue when, you know, suddenly your copyright and IP is kind of taken away.
I guess it's that like same thing music went through, isn't it? With pirating songs, but nowadays with Spotify and all that, it's kind of no one does it because you don't need to. You've got it all available.
And again, Spotify's another thing with like just the money not going to the artists. Like I try to go on Bandcamp as much as I can with like the indie groups and stuff that I like. But if they're a big mega band, I don't mind too much going on Spotify. I've already got their albums on most stuff, so it doesn't bother me. But I'll try to go on Bandcamp. But yeah, so that's my life. Sorry to turn it into the miniature podcast.
That's fine. I was about to say, yeah, so they've gone from Tokyo Game Show, what we were going to talk about, which I don't have too much info, so I'm mostly relying on you again, to talking about Warhammer miniatures. Though at the same time, I've got someone who has joined our Great Republic, is really a fan of Warhammer. You saw in the Discord the other day. So at some point, once I have any spare time in my life for anything else, I would love to just get him, and just do a Warhammer total nerdy podcast.
Warhammer, baby.
Where we just talk about 40k or
we
Sigma.
can talk all about the Horus heresy. All talk about Horus was whispered in the ears to Magnus, and that's what started the great revolution of the Civil War on Primate. Oh, mate, I talk about Horus heresy. love.
But
this thing, I don't actually play 40k at the moment. I just love the lore.
That's I don't play it at all. I haven't got time or patience or whatever, but I love reading the books and the audiobooks and stuff like that.
Yeah. Should we talk about what we've been playing?
Because
I've got a bit of a link.
Yeah, right.
Computer games.
Because
I downloaded Age of Sigma Stormguard for my Switch.
Yeah.
It's awful.
Not surprising, I'll be honest.
It's real bad, but I've had a good time with it because I like strategy, hex-based strategy games like XCOM and stuff. The UI on it is terrible. It's really hard to see on the Switch what percentage I need to do for damage. The armor system seems really bad. I don't really understand how that works. It just seems a bit broken and a bit bonkers. When it says it's an easy mission, if people aren't aware what Stormguard is, it's you have 3 factions. You have your Stormcast, you have your Nighthaunts, and you have your Nurgle Blightlords. And you have a leader, and you basically do sort of hex-based missions to build these cards that turn up. No microtransactions that I can see. It's just you get random cards as you go through, picking up like chests and stuff and things like that. You play your cards, you get upgrades for weapons, you get upgrades for units, and you sort of make an army in the game to like go through. And yeah, it's just a bit meh. It was cheap. It started off with like I think it was like $32.99 when I saw it released. And I'm like, I'm never paying that for this game.
You know, Warhammer games are always going to be bad. It's just kind of almost bad. There was a couple of like decent like exceptions. When I say decent, it's still on the lower tier of decent. I'll buy them anyway.
Like, Vermintide was good. I'd say that Vermintide was actually good. I enjoyed it. But when it comes to like these top-down hex-based like games,
which they churn out quite like.
Which they churn out a lot, like a lot.
I bought Mechanicus. It's all right. It's fine. It's totally acceptable as a game. It's just with such an awesome lore and all that, you kind of hope they would do something a bit more interesting.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same with AOS. It's the lore in AOS is amazing. Like Age of Sigmar for everyone else out there. Like the lore of Age of Sigmar is incredible, and this is just there's a generic castle in Shaiish, the realm of death, where people thing and you must siege it. And I'm like, there's so many more interesting places to be than one Shaiish, the realm of death, which frankly is a bit boring. You've got Guran, like the realm of life, where Nurgles come and like pestilated everything. You've got Umbral, the lord of like the realm of shadows, where you've got Malekith at the moment, this big demon bat, like just taking over. Like so many more interesting places rather than here's a gloomy castle. Go to it. And it was like, all right.
It's like all the gloomy castle assets they got off Unity. They just want to keep reusing for stuff.
That's good. Well, it does look like AOS art. Well, actually, no. It looks like art that I drew back when I was 12, like using tracing paper. It's kind of how it was. They were like, oh, we'll just take some art from the actual rule books and we'll just tracing paper over it and do it that way. It was a bit meh. But I think the main thing with games like this, what I want is I want to be challenged, but I want to be eased into the challenge. Especially with a game like this where you're building up your forces by winning. Basically, you have to win a few games to get cards, then upgrade and get better. So you have to have like a gradual difficulty spike. So they have like a difficulty sort of meter telling you how difficult ones are, but I think it's just random. Like there was one that was supposed to one mission that was supposed to be like easy, but I went up against a enemy hero that had like 5 armor points and double health and everything else, and had magic coming out of every orifice, and I'm just like, this is more difficult than the boss battles I was doing. I don't understand, like, especially when it's kind of risk management of, all right, do I go into this mission and end up losing, units that I need for other missions? Okay, this says easy. I'll go in. It should be, all right. So when you're trying to do that balance and the game kind of lies to you, it's really unfair, really. And like,
so what you're describing as a game, then, like where you get cards and for units and have to add them. That sounds exactly like one of the mobile games they've put out recently.
Yeah, that's the other thing with it. Like, I knew it was basically going to be a ported mobile game with a little bit of extra spice chucked in, and that's fine. I'm a slut for Games Workshop, and I'll buy like whatever that comes out within a reasonable price. And like they do this thing where they don't put their games on sale. They'll just cut the price. They'll just put it up as a new price and be like, oh wait, it always was this price. So it's up for like £17.99 at the moment, and I'm pretty sure it was around 34 quid. So they've dropped it by 50% and just chucked it back onto the store. So I picked it up for that, and yeah, I'm having a good time with it. I know, like, games like this, a lot of my enjoyment comes from my autism of just like chucking some numbers against something and like working out the puzzles. But it's not a good game, personally. I just don't think it's that good. And like, even in the scale of like rad and bad that we use, of like rad, I enjoy it, bad, I'm not enjoying it too much, I would still give it bad. It's just something I went through. And like, again, this is more of a PSA. It's like, if you're not into like that headspace thing, but you're into Warhammer and you were like, oh yeah, I'll pick this up because I like Age of Sigmar and I want to explore the world, don't get it. It doesn't help in any way. The voice acting's okay, but the story, there isn't really a story. It's just go to a gloomy keep, and that's it. It doesn't explore in any way what realms. It has realm gates that you go through, and you go to different worlds, but it doesn't even explain that. You're just in a different map, like you're just in a different, like, basically play mat, which looks like the previous play mat, but will just have a different color on it depending like on what realm gate you go through, which is like lazy assets.
I'm quite glad I had this review of you because I have considered buying that. While Sigma's not really my I'm a 40k nerd, but I still enjoy any of their kind of the bits. But so I got tempted when I saw that. When I first saw the trailer, because the trailer looks amazing as well.
That's the thing. Their trailers are on point, and they always do it. They're just like, because they have so much like cool. That's the thing as well. They've got a Storm Drake on the cover, right? Which, if you've never seen Storm Drake before, listeners and viewers, hello. It's just this big fat ass dragon with like this long sort of Loch Ness-esque neck, with this like big draconian face with armor, like these big regal armor plates with like awesome things on, and they look stunning. Like the Storm Drakes are incredible. We just had new dragons enter the game. It's awesome. So they put a Storm Drake on the cover with all this thing. I played the game for, I don't know, 8 hours, 9 hours. I haven't even whiffed at a Storm Drake. And even seen, like, not even a little like scent, like a little trail of a Storm Drake. Nothing.
Do you think the one's coming?
I hope so.
Because that'd be a real bait and switch if they.
Because they talk about, I bumped into a villain, a Nighthorn villain that was like, oh, Kriegriff, you must be sad when I slayed your Storm Drake. And she's like, oh, don't speak about Cobalt. Cobalt was my boy. And I'm like, all right, so we're obviously getting there. Like, either Cobalt will be reforged or maybe we'll just get another Storm Drake. But like I said, 8 hours in and no dragon. That's my review. If I was writing it, that would be my review title. 8 hours in and no Storm Drake.
Maybe that should be what we change rather than rad and bad, just how many hours versus how to a dragon. So if you go for the whole game, 14 hours, no dragon, terrible game.
Yeah, exactly. 143 hours, no dragon. I guess there is dragons in Final Fantasy VII. But yeah, so that's Stormguard. I'm saying it's bad.
So I've got what's it called? Hired Gun. I bought that the day it came out. It's the 40k shooter. It's fine. It's okay, but again, it's still not good. It's probably one of those like 20 quid games. You know, it's fun to run around. Some of the mechanics are really nice on it as well, like the wall running, grapple shot, and all this. They've done like there's so much potential there, but then I just don't give a shit about what's happening story wise.
Yeah.
I think while cutscenes can be bad if they're overused, a lot of this where it's just like walk from one guy, walk to another guy, and just get a little bit of dialogue off them instead of just giving me a cutscene to kind of quickly explain it all. Just ruins that a little bit, and
but that's such a sad statement for you in a 40k game to go. I don't give a shit about the story.
Yeah, like, the only thing I care about 40k is the story.
One of the main things of 40k is the story. There's so much there. It's so rich, and it steals from other stuff, but that's kind of what it is. Like, it's just a hodgepodge of all the best theological and philosophy and real life myths and legends just put into this fascist, grim, dark future. That's what 40k is. So for you to be like, story's shit, it's a travesty. That's the only thing they really have to lean back on.
Also, why don't we we get a game like this, a first-person shooter. Now, you're not there is a game of Space Marine. Obviously, they haven't done a second one since.
No, I enjoy Space Marine.
I've heard that's good, but like, I don't want to play as just some random on a hive world. I want to play as a Space Marine. I want to play as I want to fight an orc. I don't want to just fight humans wearing Mad Max armor. Like,
that was the problem with Tau Firefighter back in the day. Whereas, like, all right, obviously that was released because Tau. There's an army called Tau in the 40k universe that are essentially Japanese mech suits, which will hopefully link us back to the Tokyo show. See? Circles. So yeah, Tower, they have a caste system of different things like that. And they did Fire Warrior, which you are like, a Fire Warrior caste, which basically a small little alien dude with a long gun, and you go around killing guardsmen and eventually you fight against Space Marines. But even then, no one wanted to be a Tau. Everyone wanted to be a Space Marine. That was the whole point of it.
Yeah.
So when Space Marine came out, and I was running around Bulletstorm style, kicking orcs into like pits and like ripping off their head and blowing up with bolters, it was amazing. Like, I actually felt like I was part of the universe, and I was I was a Space Marine doing cool stuff. I just don't understand why they haven't done more of that.
Just 1 second. Oops. Just seeing if anyone else is joining us by throwing out a link.
That's okay. Throw that link out. But yeah, so games actually always have like a weird history with games. Like,
there could be so many good ones, and it just pisses me off that they don't reach that. And also, why is there not anything else? Talking about like 3D printing, I know we're just going to apparently this is now the Games Workshop pod, but
Games Workshop podcast.
But like, they don't need to rely on the models. They have so many things they could sell. Like, they could be making TV shows.
Don't take my babies away from me.
No. But like,
don't tell Games Workshop that they don't need the miniatures. They
do need them for a baseline. But they should have a TV show. They should have films. They could be making tons of cash in other ways.
Again, without turning us into the Games Workshop podcast, they have recently released Warhammer TV, which is
isn't that just like docos and things like that? Like,
they've got animated shows on it. Like, that's another big thing.
Are they good?
Dark Angel is amazing. Or Blood Angel, sorry, is amazing. It's really, really good. There's a whole history of that I can talk about, of the animator that basically did his own animation. It got copyright. It's like he was like a white hacker, like a black hat hacker, where essentially he was making animation using English as IP. Games Workshop were like, I'm shutting that down, but also I'm going to hire you. So they sort of like picked him up and
like the FBI for like hackers.
Yeah, exactly. I'm saying like FBI with hackers, like the same thing. It was like, okay, cool, we'll use you. And he's been doing animation stuff for Games Workshop for a while. So you've got Blood Angels, you've got Hammer and Bolter, which used to be a graphic novel series of like random stories, and they've turned that into an animated show.
So I assumed it was all just mostly. I mean, I know it had like some of the animators that had been taken down from there, put onto it, but like, is it? I didn't think of it as kind of new high class stuff because it's locked behind their own weird little subscription service rather than being on a regular one, I guess.
Yeah, no, of course it's not like a cable access TV show. you do have to pay for it for like a subscription. But I don't know. I think we're at a point now where I think most people know what Games Workshop is. It's that weird store, like weird shop you walk past on the high street that smells the opposite to Lush. Like that's basically what it is. Like they walk past and go.
There's always people with fedoras coming in and out of it.
Yeah, exactly. And again, like that's a stereotype. Things have got better, and the shops are actually nice places to go to.
Yeah.
Like Games Workshop, the actual like Games Workshop shops are just retailers for mums and parents really that don't understand you can get a cheaper out of flags. So that's basically what it is. But yeah, I think everyone knows it because they're doing toys now with McFarlane, and so they are branching out.
See, that's what I want. I just want toys. I want a model of a Space Marine that I don't have to paint.
Oh, mate,
they have got some. I've seen the ones that are about that big.
I'll send you a link to the action figures. They are, wow.
Cheers. You're robbing my money, Marcus.
No problem, mate. I'm actually a secret mole from Games Workshop.
It's not so secret, is it? It's
no,
pretty,
it's not.
Pretty clear. Actually, 3Ds are terrible. We should definitely buy the models.
Yeah.
You worked
maybe I've been implanted by them and I worked for them for a couple of years. Maybe.
Shall we talk about video games, or specifically the video game show taking place in Tokyo?
Yeah, can do. Let's do that.
Yeah. Okay. So so far, not really anything going on. Xbox. They are leaning into their JRPGs, but there's no new announcements of anything particularly new. Scarlet Nexus has come to Game Pass, which I bought on the day of release, and they're kind of like trying to drum up support for JRPGs on the Xbox by showing people will buy them. In my own one person in a way, but I think it did well. They have the marketing rights for it. They are trying to, because they've had that as a. I mean, it makes sense with Sony obviously being a Japanese company that they would be the platform for a JRPGs, etc.
Yeah, of course.
It makes sense, right? But like there is that lack of them on Xbox, but lots of people obviously want to play them. So I hope they do carry on leaning into it. Apparently they've got like 100 indie devs, all for their ID Xbox program.
Yeah, I'm say the indie showcase for the Xbox show in Tokyo was like a fever dream. It was big JRPG, and then you had like 4 or 5 indie games right back to back. It was like out of nowhere. It was like Mighty Goose. Boo! It was like a goose in a mech, like going metal slug style, just going around shooting stuff and blowing up. And I was like, oh, all right, okay. And then it was like a rabbit, where the sound went out, so it made it look like a horror game. It was like this little rabbit just like hopping around.
Was the sound meant to have gone out, or?
No, it wasn't. Okay. I think the sound was supposed to be there, but the sound cut out during the stream, so it made it seem like a horror game. It was just this like creepy rabbit going around in this post-apocalyptic setting.
But yeah, other than that, from Xbox, there's nothing really new. Is there anything you want to talk about with that?
Not really. Yeah, it was just highlighting stuff that is coming. If I see the Guardians of the Galaxy trailer one more time, I'm going to blow my brains out. At this point, don't get me wrong, I'm really excited for it. I can't wait for it. But when it's when it's going to be part of Square in its one as well, because obviously they had a live show. Why are you focusing so much on Xbox? I don't really understand.
It's weird how each show we've had this year kind of feels like there's a lack of stuff, but then there's always plenty coming out. So they do just seem to focus on the same few games though.
Pretty much, but no, I thought their indie game stuff was really exciting, and I can't think. I don't know whether Xbox. No, I think it was the Square Enix live show that did card stories, Isle of Dragons.
No.
No? So it was a Nintendo showcase as well. It's done by.
Is this the one that looks like old Final Fantasy?
No, that's a Triangle Project.
Right. Okay.
Triangle Project is the one which looks like basically is Final Fantasy Tactics. It looks like, but I'm not calling it Final Fantasy Tactics, and I don't know why. But I think Triangle Project is still its production name. I don't think it's its actual finished name. I'm not entirely sure. So whether they'll do a big reveal and be like, Final Fantasy Tactics, Balance, or whatever, I don't know. But yeah, Isle of Dragons looks really cool. I played the demo because it came out on the Nintendo Treehouse. They dropped the demo on Switch. It's an RPG game, but the whole game is cards.
Okay.
So you have like a grid of playing cards, and they'll flip over and they'll have a picture on it. Like they'll have a picture of a queen in a chair or a king in a chair, and they'll have a picture of you. And you have like a little chess piece that moves. So when you move, it flips over the playing card to reveal more of the setting.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a weird one to explain, but so you just have like a grid of like decks of cards that are like face over, and when you move, it flips it and shows you, a picture of a mountain or a picture of a nice forest, and you go into a town and you can talk to people. And the battle system again is cards that you have versus monsters, and it's RPG style
What was this one called?
attacks. Isle of Dragons, I think card story.
Isle of Dragons.
Isle of Dragons.
When I started typing Isle of Dragons and then CA, it said caught on camera.
Voice of
which
cards.
I'm definitely going to be looking for that later. I want to see if
There we go.
someone's caught some dragons on camera.
Oh, I hope they did. Did they get those dragons, brah? Caught those dragons.
Oh,
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
Voice of Cards, the Isle of Dragons Wars. It's also done by the production company that did Noir. So, Noir.
Noir?
Near Automata.
Ah, okay, yeah. I tried playing Nier Automata, couldn't personally get into it. What about yourself?
I will fully admit that having me on talking about the Tokyo Game Show is fine, but JRPGs is one of my weaknesses when it comes to like gaming knowledge.
Yeah, we need
I
Riku
don't know,
on here,
like-
really.
I just
Riku.
never really, Riku.
Dive in,
Smash.
you love your JRPGs.
Yeah, I just struggle with JRPGs. Obviously, Final Fantasy 9 is my favorite.
I like 9. No one likes 9. I like 9. I like
love
Steiner.
9.
I think it's
Absolutely
good.
adore 9.
Yeah, it's
I think
cute
the
little
story's
characters.
fantastic. I love VV. I love also the card game. All right.
Caveat,
Yeah,
though.
call me out.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, you do have this, like, you focused in on this one where it's a card game. I feel like we've got very opposite. You've got these kind of clever games that you think about with cards, and I just like shooting stuff. So there's like
that's fair.
You've got that balance. It's a balance. It's a kind of idiot scale, but it's a balance.
Yeah, it's about how it is. But yeah, the Isle of Dragon Wars looks really cool, and the whole thing is narrated by one person as well. So it is for me. It gave off a real experience of a Dungeons and Dragons experience
Okay.
of you moving through this world, and a GM, a games master, narrating it for you.
Oh, they actually have like, oh, right, okay. I like that.
Yeah,
That's the thing, I like D&D. D&D computer games don't really ever kind of capture the feeling of playing D&D, I guess.
no, they don't. But this did, because it was someone narrating, going, "You're in a throne room and you see the order of light upon you." So they're narrating like what you see and where you go, and yeah, it's interesting, and I'm excited to have it. The other number crunching game that I was excited to see, which there was one of the few actual reveals of this is a game that we haven't announced yet, was it Dungeon Explorer?
Is that only from the Xbox?
Was it Xbox or was it? It wasn't Dungeon Explorer. Damn, should have taken notes.
It's fine. You got more info than me anyway. Dungeon
Yeah.
Explorer 2.
No,
12
it's not
years
that
ago,
Dungeon
apparently that
Explorer.
was uploaded, so that's definitely not the one.
No, so this game was, and this is going to be even harder to explain. It's a dungeon delver, so you basically go into like
Delve a dungeon.
dungeons. Yeah, but they're like grids. So you have like basically squares, and your character moves along.
Yeah, I saw that because it was brought to you by like two people who worked on Final Fantasy.
Well,
And
the
then-
original Final Fantasy tactic stuff.
I was
Like,
about to say, 'cause I saw this and it was like, yeah, two people were working
the
on
guy
Final
that did
Fantasy.
the combat system like brought this, like the absolute god of it.
It looked very, very like a student game, if I'm perfectly honest, in terms of that running along the cards and trying to do it in a certain amount of like moves, isn't it, or like spaces you've got to get to the end.
Yeah, so I think what I get from it, and this is only like sort of complex clues I can put together, is people will see it and go, "Oh, you just move along and that's it." But I think the point of it is for you to learn the dungeon, because you can bring up like a map as well, and you can scout things and find out where particular things will be. So the whole game is about you like exploring and learning and coming back to and trying to. I think it's like a dungeon like as a roguelike as well, or a roguelite depending, where you can sort of like map out where the dungeon will be, and see. All right, there's a trap there, so I'll use my teleport ability and move up. Plus the characters in it. There's like a fat cat, Callie. There's like a big chubby
okay. You know how to appeal to me,
cat, and I was like, and what's great is they do like the sort of the rectangles of like character. And because it's such a chubby cat, the rectangle makes it look like it's a ferret. Like, it just makes it look like this long cat that's just in the middle, just like, I'm a cat.
Oh no.
And I was there.
So I'm trying to put the game show play up on screen while we're doing this as well. Oh, one thing, yeah, it's mainly to remind me of things, to be honest. But Square Enix show didn't really show anything particularly new, but it did show longer trailers of things. That's what's it called? The Final Fantasy game, the old one.
Or Origins.
Kind of, yeah. It's like Paradise, Strangers in Paradise.
Oh yeah, it's Strangers in Paradise.
That looked alright, like, because the first time the first little demo we got of that didn't have any. Well, no, it had like that one castle we started off in, and it all looked kind of the same. Whereas this actually kind of expanded, showed us a little bit like more of the different areas, and I actually thought it looked quite good. Like graphically, it looks pretty old, like a little bit dated, frankly. I do feel like from a lot of the things we saw on this show, they're like Square Enix are just churning out crap. Like there's a mobile game. There's a mobile game.
Guardians of the Galaxy looks real fresh.
Graphically, I don't think so.
Oh really?
No, I don't. I mean, the fact that it's coming out on Switch as well, like because it can handle it.
It's cloud though, isn't it? On Switch, it's not actual release.
I don't know. But I just know it didn't look. I didn't think it looked very like not fun. Cause I don't really give too many craps about the graphics if it's a good game.
Yeah, of course.
But I thought the kind of just the look of it didn't look amazing, and then they released
maybe I'm just used to that comic book style, so I see it as being graphically better than it actually is because I like that sort of comic bookness to it. Maybe.
Yeah. I'll say it looks fine. It just it didn't particularly appeal. But I think more what I was talking about is
talking Guardians of the Galaxy, Callie.
I'll stop it. Okay, that game actually looks okay. One more I'm thinking about is there's a mobile game for Final Fantasy, which is called Soldiers or like First Soldier.
First Soldier.
Is
that a battle royale?
I don't think so.
Okay, because it made it seem like it was a battle royale because you had the different
classes,
the sorcerer, the warrior, stuff like that, and there was maps of places you go, and there was like it seemed like there was NPCs and also other soldiers to fight, and you drop down. So I didn't know if it was like Square Enix's version of a battle royale.
I thought it was just when you release a PSP game alongside kind of other good or better games or whatever, or more high.
I don't think it's
polish.
that.
Really? I'm going to look at it now actually, because they're playing through the bit at the moment, and you are battling other people, so maybe.
Yeah, I just got battle royale vibes from it.
What I'm looking at here, this video I pulled up for it seems to be a lot more stats than the actual one I watched. Square Enix presents.
First Order.
But yeah, there's also a Chocobo kart game.
That makes me real sad.
I'm alright. It looks cool, but again, it just looks like it's churning out crap.
No, because it just obviously it's a different studio, but I just want Mario. I don't want Chocobo. I don't want Sonic.
But we've got the Mario Kart game. You can have other kart games.
No, we can't have. We can. We got Mario. That's it. Mario Kart. I'll allow Crash Bandicoot.
Crash Team Racer. Yeah, I was going to say Holly's going to have a problem with you if you.
I don't. Holly, I'm sorry. Please. I know. I don't want Holly coming for me. All right.
I don't want none of that smoke from Holly.
I'm just saying, Crash Team Racing's better than Mario Kart.
Hey,
Bandit coming in with hot takes.
No, it's not a hot take if it's a fact, Sunshine.
That's fair. That's true.
Yeah, but let's say they got that, they got the mobile game, and Strangers in Paradise. While I say it looks cool, and I'm happy to see more places than that, the castle they showed before. The sort of quality of it looks a lot more like Final Fantasy kind of 14 or something like that. It doesn't even seem to be kind of Final Fantasy 15 level, more like the online one, which just kind of makes me think they're kind of churning things out. But it's been a hard year.
Is Square Enix is doing Forspoken as well, right?
They are, which does... actually, I was about to say it looks lit. It does look lit. The combat looks very much like Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even one point when she's got like a magic thing circling around her fist and it's firing out like a Gatling gun and it's just basically the Barrett. Like,
it is the
fire
Barrett
animation.
Yeah, I saw a lot of assets that seem to be from Final Fantasy VII in that game. But I'm excited because I can't think of... obviously, they call it the Isekai genre of like anime stuff, of like people being transferred into different worlds. But I can't remember like a computer game in that.
Isekai.
Sorry.
I've learned like I've got like Sword Art Online as a computer game and stuff like that. But in terms of
but I just can't remember
properties,
of like an original computer game IP that sort of explores that. Obviously, it's probably been done, but I don't think it's been overdone to the point of in anime and other stories, and fantasy novels in general.
Does Wreck-It Ralph count as an isekai because he is a video game character going into other different video games?
It's true, but
does that count?
He's not like suddenly transported. He's actively choosing to go to those places, isn't he?
It's true.
Yeah, but neither does, like, if we're being technical on that point, Kirito chooses to go into Sword Art Online.
Yeah.
Granted, he doesn't choose to stay there, but...
Yeah, I'm talking about more like actual computer game itself that you can play of, a character that is taken from the like Earth and transported to a fantasy realm.
Persona in the TV world.
I guess so. It's the TV world. But again, I never really played Persona.
One of the early Digimon games. I think you were a Digimon trainer.
Digimon would be one, but that's the same as like Sentai Line. You're talking about a game, an anime property, a computer game of an anime property. In terms of original IPs, just for computer games.
Original IPs
for computer games.
Yeah.
You don't have to. This isn't a competition, Andy. You don't have to.
This is not a competition.
I'm just trying
excited.
To think.
I'm just excited because I've never.
I think it's quite good. It's
and it seems cool.
It's just quite nice having an IP as well.
Beautiful Joe.
No idea.
Oh yeah, Beautiful Joe. Yeah.
It goes into the movie world and he gets all movie powers.
Yes.
That's
awesome.
You're
right.
It is
Can
great.
you not play Beautiful Joe?
No.
I'll bring that up for a Robo Cup at some point. I'll bring out Beautiful Joe.
Beautiful Joe's quality.
Yeah, that's a real good take there, Bandit. That is true. But this is more, sort of grounded, real life in the regards of like she has a normal life. It looks like she's getting bullied in the real world.
Has a cat.
Magical portal. Has a cat, exactly, which already you're on board, Callie, for. And gets teleported to this mystical realm. And it's like her making comments of, oh, this isn't like Gandalf shit. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Like her making real life comments in this like, fantasy world that I'm excited for. And the gameplay looks good. The parkour elements, like the magical parkour elements.
Going around like traversal, I guess. Plus fucking dragons.
In
terms of our hours to dragon ratio.
Hours to dragon. Oh, it's true. How many hours to a dragon is the ratio that we're going by? I got a little bit. It's my own fault, and I cannot blame Tokyo Game Show for this. It's my stupid assumption as a English-speaking white man, where I was really excited for the Forspoken deep dive. I want to know more about it, and they had like some of the main developers and stuff talking about it, and really going into like deep. But it was all in Japanese, and YouTube only had like the adapted translate, and I'm pretty sure majority of the time was wrong because at some point Miyake was like talking about hot dogs, and I was like, I'm sure he's not actually talking about hot dogs. It's just a bad translation.
I honestly wouldn't be too surprised if it was talking about hot dogs.
No, true,
Depends
but
on the context,
it was like,
I suppose. But
he was talking about the gameplay and the game style, and it was like, oh yeah. She moves, she flows very much like a hot dog. And I was
flows through a hot dog like a bun,
Yeah, exactly. Flows through like a hot dog.
That old classic saying.
We all know hot dogs are renowned for their ability to move smoothly.
They are.
This is true. Hello, Bandit. Welcome to the show, Bandit. Thank you for popping on in.
Hello.
But yeah, anything that you enjoyed or liked from the Tokyo Game Show that you want to bring to the chat?
I've only seen like passing clips of Tokyo Game Show and being routed up by my friend, but most of the stuff like you already covered when I joined. It was the Square Enix stuff that I was interested in, largely because like I'm interested that Marvel were trusting Square Enix again with Guardians of the Galaxy, after the whole debacle with Avengers being.
I think it was already in
trash.
development though.
Yeah,
right?
it's not like there would have been signed afterwards. But also the Avengers. I mean, I'm going to be giving it a go soon because it's dropped on another one of the announcements from the Game Xbox Game Show thing. Was it dropping into Game Pass? So I will be giving it a go now. I kind of can, and I've seen already some people saying this is actually quite a good game. I'm not. It definitely doesn't seem like it's going to be something I particularly like because it's multiplayer anyway. I'll give it a go.
And I picked it up when it first launched.
Any
But
good?
I knew there was going to be problems and I knew there was going to be issues. I enjoyed my time with it. It wasn't good. Like, it's simple as that. I enjoyed playing different characters, but the repetition, I realised my brain likes, but isn't good in a game. Like, you shouldn't just be fighting the same enemies over and over again.
Isn't that just an MMO though? Like 99% of it.
Yeah, true, but like at least an MMO gives you different levels of difficulty and adds new skills to them.
I think all the baddies are basically the same, aren't they?
Yeah, they all have the same.
It's like there's no difficulty. It's just the more enemies they throw at you.
Yeah, exactly, and the bosses have the same patterns. Like Abomination fights the same as MODOK. Like they just do a 3-pattern sequence and then do an area blast. Or, Abomination might do a charge and an area blast, but essentially it's just
lazy.
a 3-pattern hit, pause, then a hit. And for my brain, like, I play Souls and stuff and things like that, it's not challenging. Like, if every single boss has the same, pattern sequence.
You have to learn one pattern and then you've got the game complete, basically.
And that's it. I can just go, oh, okay, cool, this is no longer fun for me. This has just become a
I was going to say, with Guardians, seeing they do the spaceship combat, which is cool. But the actual ground combat doesn't look particularly good to me. I think it's more the RPG elements which appeal.
I don't know. I think I disagree with that because I like the fact Star-Lord can, like in Final Fantasy, right, where your other partners can add moves and stuff. So that I find really interesting, especially in like that team aspect. Because there's one of like Star-Lord tells Groot to do like a root blast. Suddenly roots come up from the floor. And a barrier comes up and protects everyone, and Rocket can do, obviously his like gun blast. Like I like that mechanically, and it seems you get those points by Star-Lord doing like cool style things, and you get more points by adding like taunts and styles into it. It seems very Star-Lord.
I mean, to be honest, I think that's just my own dumbness of wanting a first-person shooter for everything, or third-person shooter for everything, I should say. But I do like the RPG and actually having options to select things in the story. Different routes you can go, that appeals more than what I think Avengers doesn't have like anything like that. It's just...
I kind of think though that Marvel are still going to try and scramble to get their version of DC Universe Online. Because DC Universe Online, like, for all its flaws as a MOBA, it was quite entertaining.
Is it still going though?
It's still available on Steam. I'm not willing to sit through the 12-hour download.
Are they actively doing stuff for it, or is it just the servers are open?
I'm not sure if they've done any more content for it because I last played it on a PlayStation 3. So like for all its flaws as a MOBA and the 10-hour download it took back then, it was entertaining for a bit of time. Yeah. To know that you were like rescuing Superman as your random made-up character.
The Avengers game obviously was supposed to be like a living game model, right? And it still is because they brought out the Wakanda DLC recently for it and keep it going. And I don't know whether they have any interest in a MMORPG and whether they just put all their effort in this living game model and that is their version of the MMORPG Bandit, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
They just go, we're not going to make... Why would we make that when Destiny 2 is pumping out so much money? And, obviously, things are full... Like, Destiny 2 seems to be the World of Warcraft of the living game genre, right? It persists. Yeah, it's always there.
I always find it strange that people are still so into it. Like, I see people on Twitter, and I'm like, I've tried getting into it multiple times, and personally can't. Despite being a first-person shooter.
I am one of those people where I play it religiously, drop out, and then I hear little hintlings of stuff, and I'm like, and Season 4 at the moment sounds really good because we've got the Hive Queen and stuff. But, again, I'm not going to start vomiting about Destiny 2.
It's games as a service thing now, isn't it? That's a trend that's going to be
live
continued
service.
thing.
I don't mind that if it's just generally cosmetics and such. Like I'm not obviously the pay to win stuff sucks, but for me like Destiny 2, Destiny. It's the fact that I don't want a loot shooter style thing. I don't want to upgrade my gun by 2 little points each time. Just give me 10 guns and that's it. Like 10 guns to do different things.
They have rode that back a little bit in the seasons have gone along, where they had a pattern of they were making weapon upgrades way more complex, and everyone was like, "Why are you doing this? We just want to get exotics and blow stuff up. That's kind of what we want."
Yeah.
So they are listening, and season 4 seems to be that way. I may be wrong, and they probably added.
The storyline looks really cool, but I tried playing one recently, one of the new stories, and like I got to a point where it's just like, okay, we're playing through the storyline, and now I can't progress further because I need to level up some more. Like it just wasn't going to be. We tried a bunch, and it was like, no, this is actually too hard. We need to go level up. I don't want that from any game. If I have to stop my story play to go and just do some grinding.
You don't want to grind for story, Callie.
Correct.
Jeez, what's up? Noob are you?
Yeah, exactly.
Grind for story. Yeah, that's ridiculous. You shouldn't.
I should be able to play through from the beginning. Like, if I hit the story, I should just be able to go through that storyline. Like, it should keep up. Like the hardness should keep up with where I am, essentially.
Yeah, what they should do is have a story mode for it, where at this point, with the years of content they have. You should have a story mode that you can play through all the story stuff.
Everything's set at level 20.
Exactly. And at the end of it, you are then brought into the current storyline with the Hive Queen and so on, and that's when your light level affects stuff. And like World of Warcraft now, where you can start a character. Not that anyone's really playing it, the drop-off rates for WoW at the moment are horrendous for numerous reasons. So yeah, you can basically get a character at level 90, but it allows you to play all the previous story if you want to, and you're high enough level basically just to go through it. And I think at some point that's what they need to.
In terms of Marvel, in terms of doing like a DC online stuff thing, I can actually see them doing more of what's that Pokemon game? What's that kind of genre called?
What, a MOBA?
A MOBA, yeah.
What, like League of Legends?
Yeah, that kind of thing.
You mean like Unite? I love how you went for the Pokemon game instead of League of Legends or Dota or like one of the big.
I could see more like a Marvel League of Legends style thing because I think you can make money a lot easier and quicker, and it's also less effort to make compared to a 3D realized world.
They did make one like years ago.
They made one for DC. I don't know about Marvel.
They did make one for Marvel because if you troll through the depths of the internet, as I have, you can still find stat blocks for characters like Star-Lord and She-Hulk and things like that. But I played the DC one. The DC one sucked.
I liked the DC one, but I realised that's because I liked DC, not because it was a good mode.
I was a Gaslight Batman man, but
I was an Apocalypse Green Lantern main. So
the whole thing was like a Marvel MOBA would work really well if they released it again now, but they need to put actual effort into it and not just because like it's the assumption that MOBAs are easier to make, but they're not. MOBAs are not easier to make than MMOs. MMOs, granted, it requires more graphic design, but MOBAs you have to balance potentially like hundreds of characters with each other.
But I think it's more in terms of
but will they do that though?
You don't have to make stories as such. I know it's got background stories, but you don't have to have you'd have to program in absolutely fresh stuff for like go to this place, speak to this person, all this dialogue and whatnot takes place.
Granted, but at the same time, it's the balancing act, which is the hard thing.
Yeah, but I mean,
is there a point in making new MOBAs anyway nowadays in regards of like the bastions that you have of Dota and?
I feel like Marvel would be alright though, because Marvel has such a huge base of fans anyway that so many people would sign up just to give that a go, and like kids would sign up if it's a free to play thing, especially.
But that was the thing, though. Like using that argument, Marcus. Why would you say why would anyone make a battle royale now? Because Fortnite and PUBG exist.
Yeah, true. I just mean from a monetarily like standard. I guess they could release it, hope they get the initial burst of cash, and then I just don't see longevity in it. Like that's the thing. I've played so many MOBAs that have come up and just disappeared and have left themselves in the hole and not really making that much money.
I do think like with Marvel, that's the thing. Marvel has that pre-built fan base that I think you could get enough attachment just on the basis that it's Marvel.
True, but are you going to get like the whole Marvel audience is really weird in regards of like what fans they have.
Mm.
Because my mum would consider herself a fan of the Marvel movies. She's seen all the Marvel movies. She's never read a comic. Like, she just, she's not a nerd in any way, but she has seen the movies. She's not going to play a MOBA. Obviously, I'll give it a go, and other people will. And obviously,
I think you get enough
as well.
in terms of hold rates for a new MMO. Sorry, no, a new whatever you call it. I think you got enough hold rate.
So after me, MOBA.
I refuse.
MOBA.
I refuse.
Like boba tea, like boba.
If you said Boba Fett, I'd have been way more into that.
That's right. Or like boba. I was keeping it in theme with the Tokyo Game
Fair
Show.
enough. No, but like, yeah, just because Marvel has that build rate, even if it's like 10% or like 5% of the people that like Marvel are going to play it, that's still a huge amount. I mean, the way to make money for them is just selling Fortnite skins of like Iron Man, frankly. Like, that's their customer base right there anyway, so.
Yeah.
I don't know why anyone still plays Fortnite, honestly.
Yeah,
because it's fun for people,
yeah,
and people
people
have different fun levels of what they are, or Stockholm syndrome. Like, they've just been playing it enough, or what's it called? Sunken cost fallacy. They've been playing it for so long, they're never going to quit.
Don't at me about League of Legends.
Exactly. See, here we go.
£1,500 on League of Legends I spent, but the entire thing about Fortnite is that the issue I have with it is, first off, I've played 3 games of it. Won the first game I played and then got eliminated straight away in the next 2. But and I'm not good at these kind of games. But the problem I see when I speak to loads of gamers is that they don't like children in games, and Fortnite has a huge child player base.
And then that's fine then, because then you see it as the crash, right? You see Fortnite as the crash where they go to and they play in that game, and it means that they're not jumping into your Destiny 2s and your other stuff that you actually want to play. So
no, I'm not disputing that. It's just like the amount of people who still do play Fortnite who are not children. No. That's just the weird thing to me. Because I'll be honest, right?
Why are you picking this beef bandit? Why are you coming after the Fortnite adult players like this? What did they do to you? Did they kill your parents?
Fortnite seems like an alright game. Like, I played it just to flex. Like, that's fine. I played it on day one, or just before day one. I wanted to play the actual game that was originally there before they did the battle royale, where you build a base and fight against zombies. Like, it seemed really cool, or like zombie-esque things.
I was actually more interested in that than
right.
Battle
But battle royales for me, I like respawning after I get killed. And then seeking vengeance, so it was never really my kind of thing. But if that's your kind of thing, if you like PUBGs and you like battle royales, then Fortnite's pretty clever with what it does. You can set traps and all that kind of shit. It's got a nice cartoony aesthetic. I don't understand.
You can be a hedge for a bit.
Yeah, I don't quite understand how some of the things they put in work now, because I've not been following along, where they have like concerts and things like that. Like, so they turn off combat? Like,
so I did the Marshmello and Bastille concert.
Okay.
Also, I dropped in for the Ariana Grande one. Just because, one, I like Ariana Grande. I don't care. Come at me, internet.
No judgment.
Come at me. So, and also, I see these as like weird. I wish T was here as well, because we can talk about this for ages. But this sort of creative, artistic space in the world of gaming, I find very fascinating, because they were art displays, basically. They were art exhibits, but in Fortnite. Like the Marshmello one was weird, where when Happier played, they gave you like a parachute and jumping on trampolines, and you can sort of go around to the song, and different bubbles would turn up like into the theme of the music. It was like a virtual phone party. It was really weird. But it was fascinating for the fact that I don't think it's ever been done before, like a computer game concert. Same with Ariana Grande one. So
it's a bit interesting. When you're in there, though, I take it you can't kill each other.
I'll say no, like deaths are after. You don't have any weapons or anything in the thing. Sorry, Bandit, you were going to say?
I would say a concert in a video game. Brutal Legend did that, and that was PS3.
No, it's true. No, but what I mean is
live concerts,
like a live sort of like a concert.
It's kind of the sort of thing you had in like I imagine you'd have in like Second Life, if that was still or became like a really popular thing. Or Roblox would probably be the kind of place that would do that as well.
That's true, but you're right. Like the concert sequence in Brutal Legend is obviously a part of the game, how it's set up and stuff. But it's not something that you could actively go in to interact with as an art piece. It was just part of the game. I guess Brutal Legend was another game where you get transferred to a magical realm, right?
Yeah, the world of metal.
Yeah,
Brutal Legend is such an underrated game. I absolutely love it.
It's great. Is there anything else from Tokyo Game Show? As we're on the motorway of tangents, and it's fine. I'm on board for it. But
1 second.
This is what happens when I turn up. Treehouse turns up, tangents ensue.
Silence for a second. Silence. So I'm just trying to test. We've got like echo apparently. Just trying to find out where it's coming from. And they didn't hear me at all from that. So, someone else talk for a second.
Hello, my name is Marcus, also known as the Annoying One.
Yeah, accurate. Close enough, probably. Oh, little teaser there from a future show I accidentally just threw up on screen.
Wait, what? I missed that.
Yeah. You'll be able to catch it on YouTube later.
Oh, there we go.
Ah, damn it! I forgot there's a delay. I've just got this entire screen shared, so like occasionally I drop down, you can just see all my desktop icons and see what a trash heap my desktop is. It's not that bad.
Mine is just my logo, so I wouldn't worry too much about it.
I do wonder if that's some sort of megalomania. You have your own logo as your desktop background, but because it's essentially your face, isn't it? Really, like.
Yes, because I definitely look like Bakura from Yu-Gi-Oh!
I assume you do, to be honest. It's been so long.
I also
that is how I believe you look.
Case.
I'd like to make a point in saying that you're one of the few people who does know what I actually look like, because you have seen me, and you do know my real name. You're one of the few people in this entire server who does.
Yeah.
I wish I came in here with a persona and no one knew what I looked like, or I had a fake name. That's my dream, Bandit. My dream, as I always say, my sign off for this is, you can find me nowhere and I'm in the shadows, and I wish I could keep that. But going live, people know what I look like now. Sad.
Yeah, sorry. Or we could just lie and say this is like a face like from Mission Impossible 2. Like a skin face.
Yeah. Or this is actually a virtual inbuilt sort of art piece.
This is a deep fake. I'm actually a good programmer. I don't have a co-host or friends, so I just deep programmed a deep fake to come along and chat with me. You're an AI.
Thank you, Callie, for having me on the show.
You're welcome, Marcus Bot.
No problem.
Marcus.exe ceases to respond.
Error. Yeah, I think that's pretty much most things from. One thing was the Hunter Rise deep dive they did.
Is that Monster Hunter?
Yeah, Monster Hunter. The new DLC that's coming out, which is essentially Bloodborne dragons, which I'm on board for.
Nice.
It's just weird vampire dragons. I want to bring it up because what they showed was cool, but what was awesome, and everyone should check it out on YouTube, the live show, is the musical performances they did. They had live music performances of some of the music in the game and previous Monster Hunter series. They had Konami Suzuki on there, she is amazing. She's an absolutely incredible artist. And she did the theme song for ReZero, the anime.
Okay. So I gotta say, like, with stuff like Square Enix, them as well. Like, the musical side of things is more appealing to me than their games themselves. Like, music from Final Fantasy, music from Persona. In fact, I'm
pretty sure one of the string players is part of Black Magi as well.
What's that?
Is it Black Magi or Black Magus? The metaled up versions of Final Fantasy songs.
Ah, sweet.
I don't play Final Fantasy, so I have no idea.
Then why are you here, Bandit?
We're talking about Tokyo Game Show. Show up.
Tokyo Game Show.
Inside Fortnite.
I play a lot of Japanese games. I just don't play Final Fantasy.
Speaking of Japanese games, I did play the Convenience Store yesterday. as part of a Let's Play that's going to be releasing for our Halloween events. Like, it was meant to be creepy. It's alright. Do watch it, please. I'm not trying to put you off. It was good fun. It's certainly not that scary, though. Like, I was expecting it to be... You know, when, like... I'm a big fan of Japanese kind of horror, like... Sort of, like, girls with the like hair all down them and all that. That's very appealing. Yeah, any, like, you know, Onis and all the creepiness, like, comes along with that. But a lot of it was just, like, running a convenience store simulator with some occasional, like, jump scares, which it was good. It was a right game, but... Yeah, if you're planning on ever getting it, it's like $2. Just bear in mind, it's not actually going to scare you.
That's fair. I was also playing another game I want to talk about that I got on my Switch that I absolutely loved, called Beast Breaker.
Okay.
Have you seen this about? So it is a action adventure Poggle. Or Peggle, sorry.
The shooting balls up at the...
Yeah, you know, shooting the balls up and around. It's basically that. So you play a mouse in like this world of critters, and they're getting attacked by things called crystal beasts. And the crystal beasts are basically Peggle blocks. And they're in the shape of like a monster. And the mouse itself is the Peggle ball. And you throw yourself at the crystal beast with your sword to basically break points.
Yeah, okay.
And to basically reveal up weak points to do more damage to it. And you gain weapons along the way, like you can have a bow, which is more traditional Peggle, where you fire something from the point of where you are. And then there's like a reload ammo mechanic where, because the creatures actually attack you and fight back. So there'll be you have like a grid, like a sort of map that you play on. And the crystal beast will have like a big red mark of where it's going to attack. You have to make sure you don't end up in that mark where you take damage.
Got ya.
And the story seems cool. It seems like your grandma was a legendary crystal beast fighter, but now she's retired. And
That old classic narrative,
exactly. Classic narrative is trying to, you know, keep you away from the secret, but also understands that you have a duty of being a hero and you have to go out.
Isn't that the plot of The Secret of Nim? But like less crystal beasts and more evil mental health institutions.
Indeed, is Secret of Nim Peggle. I think is the best thing to do it. The art style.
Love Secret of Nim.
Secret of Nim is great. The art style is sort of blocky Western art. It's all right. It's not the best. It's not the worst. I like it. It does have sort of text-based story art, if that makes sense, of like just a still background and the character will sort of phase in, do its dialogue and disappear, which annoys me. I find that a bit lazy, but end of the day, it's just it's only £8, so it's like a cheap little one. But yeah, for what it is, I think it's great. It's something I've never seen before of a strategy-based Peggle game. Well, obviously, with Peggle, you just have to take away as many blocks as you can and hit the different coloured ones to finish the level, whereas this, you actually have to slay a creature. And what's cool, they have a tracking system as well. You have like hexes, and you basically have to move around, revealing sort of fog of war on the map. And you have to find where the crystal beast is, and it moves in a pattern. And you have to intercept it before it reaches the village and basically destroys it. And you can collect items along the way that allows you to make things to then make it easier to destroy the crystal beasts and stuff like that. It's good.
Yeah, sounds fine.
That is rad, not bad.
Oh,
Storm Guard, bad. This, rad. You should pick it up.
Now we've got two people here. I was just wondering if you wanted to do a quick round of the Comic Cup.
The Robo Cup.
Fuck. This has become a bit now. They all say, I can do. I've got nothing prepared, but
this is kind of why I just want to spring on you and see if you can argue against something. So, what can I force you to fight with?
You know what? I'm going to bring up Beautiful Joe. There we go. Talked about it previously. It's pretty good. It's been a while. I have to Google it.
Bandit, do you want to talk about Brutal Legends?
I was about to say, if you're bringing up Beautiful Joe, I'll talk about Brutal Legend.
Yeah, that seems good.
Cool, because I've not played either. So let's hear it from the guest today, Bandit.
Okay, so Brutal Legend is a game that was created by Tim Schafer. So in the same mind as Double Fine, the same guy who created Psychonauts, and he worked with Bethesda quite a bit before they split off and made Double Fine. Now, what Brutal Legend is, you play as Jack Black. His name is Eddie Riggs, but he's Jack Black. And you are a roadie for a metal band. For some strange reason, you get killed on the stage. You summon a giant metal god, and you are transported into the world of metal, where you have to pretty much save the world as Jack Black. You get a cool-ass axe, you get a cool car, and the soundtrack is amazing. And it's sort of like got the action-adventure style gameplay, but also RTS gameplay, where you do stage battles. So what happens is you build a stage, and then you summon units, and you strategically send units out to fight each other.
Okay.
And you also get involved with the action by jumping in and smashing the shit out of enemy units yourself.
So it has a hack and slash element as well as being an RTS.
Yeah.
And that's pretty sick. Okay. Do you want to tell me what Beautiful Joe is? Is it Beautiful Joe?
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Beautiful Joe.
Yeah, so Beautiful Joe is a side-scrolling sort of Devil May Cry-esque combat game where you hit certain triggers and fight different villains to go through. The main appeal of the game is the art style. The art style is absolutely fantastic and is cell-based. It kind of looks like acid trip sort of cell animation game. Like it's gorgeous, absolutely beautiful. Yeah, you are a guy called Joe. You're with your girlfriend Sylvia. Is it Sylvia, the girlfriend?
I'm going to check because it's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a real while. I'm going to the banks. It was on GameCube. I played this on GameCube, and it's one of the reasons why the GameCube for me is one of the best consoles ever, including Billy Hatcher.
It is Sylvia. It is Sylvia.
Sylvia. Yes! Did it, baby. Mind banks. Yeah, your girlfriend Sylvia that basically gets captured by these sort of TV villains, and each level is like a different sort of movie. So you have like sort of a train heist, and then a noir sort of black and white. And it goes through like different movie genres through the different sets as you go on, and you're set off and you become the hero, Beautiful Joe. I think he's just called Beautiful Joe, right? And
yeah.
It looks like a not Power. Well, I guess like a Power Ranger, sort of that kind of suit. Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. So
I've got it up on the screen now. I think this is the right thing.
Yeah. So you're just a regular dude, and you get sucked into a computer game. Oh wow, a movie verse. And what's really cool as well, you have like film cells, like going along and stuff and things like that, and different triggers that you can get up. But yeah, let's say artistically, it's gorgeous and done by Kimaya, who did the Devil May Cry and Resident Evil 2, I believe.
Okay, I can get the Devil May Cry vibes, definitely.
Yeah, just because of the way that you get like combo attacks and so on. And
it's a Capcom game, so
yeah.
Okay. Right, so I'm watching this. This is actually going unique. So I've got both games playing now, like on the screen.
Well,
so
like
I can
one
see
of
what's
the
going on
monkeys
with them.
28 days later, just like absorbing these.
Just I was thinking more like Alex from Clockwork Orange with the Ludovico technique.
It's true. This is true. Either one is good.
So Beautiful Joe is actually one of my main team members in Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
Yeah.
I won a regional tournament with Beautiful Joe on my team.
Nice. That is one thing I will say about Beautiful Joe. Thanks for the prop up there, Bandit.
You're welcome.
He has become a bit of an icon. Like he's a bit of a cult icon, a bit of a cult classic, and he's turned up in Marvel vs. Capcom. He's part of the Mighty 100, right?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, which is another game that I like. Where have you played the Mighty 100 series, Caddy?
Nah, sorry.
No, that's fine.
So I'm shaking my head, but for those on the audio who are just going to be listening to the audio, no, I've not played this.
Yeah, so that is basically a group of 100 superheroes that sort of merge together, and it's like top down, and you draw shapes to get different abilities. So you throw the heroes out like a big fist, and Beautiful Joe is part of that collective.
Okay, I'm also just I've got Brutal Legend up on, and I just saw a Guitar Hero-esque like pressing the buttons as the keys go through. I mean, I kind of feel like I know.
Lemmy's in it as well, right?
It.
Like you've got like
Lemmy himself.
I'll give you like a prop up as well, Bandit. Brutal Legend has some of the most iconic rock artists of all time, and like metal stars that like turn up in the game. Like I'm pretty sure Lemmy's in it, right?
Lemmy's in it. He is.
Bless his
He's
soul.
the leader of like the bass unit. That are healers.
Ozzy's in it as well, right?
Ozzy Osbourne's in it as the Guardian of Metal. Kyle Gass is in it as a giant thug. A bunch of people, like metalheads, show up in it. The Guitar Hero style mechanics, they are how you cast spells, shall we say? So instead of like where you'd press an ability on like an MMO or an action RPG, you play a solo and you have to get it right and to get the spells. So like one of them is simple as just summoning your car. But like there's ones like called the Face Melter where it literally melts faces. And it shows you a close up of their faces melting.
That's the most Jack Black thing.
Yeah. He occasionally just goes, a face melter. And it's like there's it plays around with metal subgenres though. So 2 seconds ago.
So I'm just also let's go back to Virtua. I'm gonna have to just call it Joe because I can't pronounce that first word.
That's okay.
Basically, what we're looking at is a side scroller beat 'em up.
Yep, with some Metroidvania-esque stuff where you get abilities that help you surveil the levels a little bit better and get past villains.
So what's the story here? Is he dived into movies in general?
He was watching. He was either at a drive-through or he was at his house and was watching a movie with his girlfriend. And some sort of dimensional rip happened, and his girlfriend gets stolen by the villains of these different movies. And then he gets sucked into it and uses like a sort of Power Rangers-esque coin to like Beautiful Joe and like go into his sort of armor suit to save Sylvia.
He does look. I can't remember the name. There's like a Japanese kind of hero looks almost looks like him or something.
Man. He looks like
Ultraman.
Yeah,
Ultraman.
Yeah, he looks like Ultraman. That sort of setup. But yeah, it's that sort of. Is it Shogun? Yeah, that sort of Shogun sort of Japanese style. And also, I'm gonna completely butcher this, so you can repeat it after me, Bandit, correctly. Asika as well. Asika. Isekai. There we go. Isekai genre. Again, of being sucked into a different world and having to survive. So.
Okay. Well.
The easiest way for Japanese pronunciations is that like when you have an I at the beginning, it's always pronounced E.
Okay, Isekai.
Right. Marcus, yeah. I wouldn't necessarily take that advice. He doesn't really speak English in the correct way, as we've often established. So
that's cool.
I'll have a point to know that I am a qualified English teacher. So why do you make it?
Well, there's a hashtag because it's like Northern English teacher, so it's different. Like
actually, strictly speaking,
it's
English is a foreign language. So I teach English to people who can't speak it.
Oh,
yeah, so they won't know any better.
Neither do you.
That's such a burn to be like, well, they wouldn't know if they were getting bad teaching or good teaching. But again, we're not putting Bandit's teaching skills on the chopping block.
No, we're putting Brutal Legend and Beautiful Joe. Okay, so I'll be honest, this was going to be a quick one because I just wanted to make sure we keep up with the Comic Cup and while we had a guest here. Can
I finish my point before, because we have a plumber in, so that's why I had to stop because they were talking at me.
Oh, you're fine.
So it goes through the different subgenres of metal. So each faction, you have Eddie Riggs' faction, which is just like the main faction, where they're just the rebels. You have a brief one, which belongs to someone called Lion White, and that is like the glam metal, and it's all like hair done. Then you've got the Black Tears, and they are like sort of like the emo metalcore stuff.
Death metal. Isn't Danny Filth one of the voices for that?
Yes, I believe so.
Although Ozzy Osbourne's definitely on screen right now. That has got to be the guy he's voicing.
Yeah, the Guardian of Metal. But then the big bad is called Emperor Diviculus, and he is they're like the demon army, and they have like industrial metal. So it's stuff like like Nine Inch Nails and that sort of like electronic influence stuff, and there's a lot of like BDSM imagery in it as well, which is like, and yeah, but like there is online multiplayer as well available, so you can like play against other people online playing different factions of your choice, and each faction has their own different like sort of like they have their own style of each individual unit, but they all function differently.
So I have my conclusion regardless, I'll be honest, like to that. So thank you for
That's fine. I feel my pitch was shit. So
yeah, I'm giving it to Brutal Legends. Your pitch is fine, actually. Like, I mean, it kind of tells about that. Just as this is definitely an entirely biased towards what I want to play. I think I actually want to play Brutal Legends a lot more than this. Plus, it's double.
I would also, out of what's really interesting is like what we chose. They're pretty much the same game in different ways. Where Beautiful Duo explores cinema and different tropes of movies. Brutal Legend explores like the metal genre and all its different like.
Okay, yeah, I guess movies versus music.
And that obviously, and even like you could argue the way that the magic's done in Brutal Legend is similar of how you do special attacks in Beautiful Joe. It's just about pressing buttons. It's just that one is a 2D side scroller and the other is a third person.
Well, I think I mean Jack Black obviously gives a boon to anything. Jack Black's great to have as a voice actor, but like because I've seen like some footage from it before and it was the RTS bit and I was like, I don't know if I want to play an RTS game, but being that it's an I don't mind RTS, but an RTS where I can also dive in and get hacking and slashing sounds even better. And it just it looks quite creative and interesting. I think I will actually try and give this a go. I think I downloaded it on like cheap from Steam one time and never got around to it.
Also, you like Psychonauts anyway, right?
I do like Psychonauts. So
you're already a Double Fine
also
devotee.
Tim Schafer. I don't know a fan name for Timmy.
Are we thinking the Schaefernauts?
Schaefernauts.
There we go.
Yeah.
Schaefernauts.
See, that's why we have you on.
Everyone forgets Eric Robson as well. He's like a huge part of the Double Fine design team. He's one of my favorite designers for Psychonauts.
He worked mainly on Stacked, right? I love Stacked.
But like he was one of the people who split off to make Double Fine with Tim Schafer.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, let's just let Double Fine do Double Fine things, and then everyone gets happy because Double Fine make the really good tongue-in-cheek games.
There's so many Double Fine stuff I love, like Costume Heroes, or I don't know whether anyone's played that. That was really good fun.
Grim Fandango.
A bit of that. I played. What's the point-and-click adventure I played? Where you're in space, but you're not in space. I can't remember. Anyway, it was like it's a sequel to something, and it was Kickstart funded, as kind of a lot of Double Fine's previous stuff seemed to be.
Balls! I know what you mean. Yes.
It's like you play as two different characters, and they're like stories entwined.
Oh, that's gonna bugger me.
Quick question: Does Ape Escape count as an isekai?
What, Ape Escape? Oh,
are you an ape
no, Bandit. I guess. No, because he's already part of the ape world, right?
Yeah, but it's the whole transporting into the past kind of alternate. It's not necessarily alternate world, but it's like time travel.
That's time travel.
But it feels like alternate universe because you can't really do that with it.
Nah, that's not isekai. No, I'm gonna say that is time traveling.
Also, Ape Escape, quality game.
Ape Escape is great. I completely agree.
What were you gonna say? Something bad about Ape Escape, Callie?
No, I have no feelings either way towards Ape Escape. Sorry. You can. I'm not gonna start a fight with you on that one.
That's fine. Are we going to rate Tokyo Game Show as rad or bad?
I'm rating it bad.
I'm also going to rate it as bad.
There's nothing interesting, really. Taste. Everything that kind of happened was just previous trailers, but slightly extended ones, and bad. But
again, if you're in the Asian region, Game Pass is coming to you, which is fantastic.
Yeah, so I guess for it being out there, although a lot of the stuff we've seen before, we've seen them at E3 and various Western shows, so a lot of them and they're all presented in English. So this is more a show just to kind of show like an E3 but over there.
Exactly. And like as a Western viewer, not much, but I'm sure Asian watchers and listeners were like, hell fucking yeah, get me going. So
and there was some good bits on Game Pass, but still bad. Yeah. Yeah,
indeed. But no, I'm excited for the weird dungeon explory one that goes in grids. That looks really cool. So.
Honestly, can't really sound excited for anything that got shown particularly. Spoken mildly. More
Yeah,
just to
again,
watch
for
it. Though. I don't
smoking
really-
was great, except for talking about hot dogs when I was like, and again, that comes from my privilege of not knowing like Japanese.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
their Japanese show. It's not me going the show's shit because I can't understand. It's the same as if they tried to watch E3 and everything's in English,
Yeah.
right? So, but yeah, I'm sure they'll do a deep dive at some point.
All right. Bandit, did you need to go and attend to a plumber?
No, I'm just saying we've got a plumber working in that would just give me an
Oh,
update.
okay.
So
Well, I'm
I'm
wrapping
fine
up
to stick
things.
around and talk.
So I'm wrapping up things. I just wanted to see if you wanted to do your own wrap up. So yeah, Bandit, thanks for joining us. You're of course over at.
You find me on the Treehouse primarily. I occasionally destroy other podcasts when I turn up. 2-0 Marcus. Gotta say.
Fine, I don't care.
I do.
I honestly, I have no feelings either way. I'm merely here as a robotic android of funniness for Callie. So
Yes.
Let me have these little victories, please.
Bandit, that's fine. I'm like, yes, Bandit comes on and destroys me. I am a senpai to Bandit. Is that right? Is that
No.
how that should be used?
I don't
No,
think so.
no, senpai is senior.
Senior? Okay. So
Granted, you are older than me, but like,
that's true. I'm a senpai sub. I don't know. I don't know what you want.
Sub.
don't know
Let's
if
just
that
give it to the senpai. It's just a sub for Bandit.
Sub for Bandit. There you
sure.
go.
Okay. Yeah, you can find me on Twitch at the Bandit King UK, on Twitter at Bandit King UK, on TikTok at the Bandit King UK, and of course you'll find me on the Good Pods app. Where I'm assuming this show's gonna go.
It will, yeah. So today, because I mean, we're obviously like there wasn't one prepared. We were ahead of schedule until we had a cock up the other week. So now we're behind schedule, and this is going to be it's broadcast live, and then I'm going to quickly throw it onto the apps, onto the podcast stuff, stick an intro and an outro on it, and we'll be good to go.
But yeah, I am also streaming Bloodhunt tonight for the first time, so that's going to be fun. Also, I wrote a review on that. That should be up on the website relatively soon, I'd imagine.
We got a bit of backlog, but I'll try and get out there because it's quite new, isn't it? No, it's not new. Is it new?
Yeah. It came out the top of September.
Okay, right. Yeah.
Fresh blood,
Spicy,
baby.
fresh.
Beautiful.
And I guess let me just take everything else. So we've got a few other shows on the network. We got our Into the Nerdverse, which I'm also going to be recording with the guys Board Barlow and Stacey Jacks later today. Great show. They got an awesome little feature of What If, where they're given a scenario in popular culture or comic culture, and changing kind of one little aspect to see what would happen, and you kind of have to, and we're gonna have to kind of argue for what would happen against Barlow's opinion of what would happen, I guess. Then we've got the wrestling show. If anyone's interested in wrestling, check out Recharge Wrestling. Woo!
Big love.
Yeah, and we've got a few new things coming out soon. I guess go check out some of the YouTube bits. We've got Critical Update yesterday. If you want to get some professional news that you don't have to spend an hour and a half watching like this.
Also, don't forget Treehouse, hosted by Bandit, who's on, and
he did his own. Thing.
I don't think he said Treehouse, did he?
He did.
I did. I said you can find me on the Treehouse.
There you go.
It's a Treehouse podcast where they talk about horror and whatnot. And I hope I'm going to be on there soon as well, I believe.
Yes. Also, if you like D&D with a comedic change, check out my show with Board Barlow and Sammy Dodgerman's Bears with Knives.
Yeah.
We've actually got 2 shows coming up in October. Because
doing a special, is that or?
Well, we were doing the Halloween one anyway, but because of an accident, Sammy's fine, but because of an accident involving trains.
Bloody hell!
What?
She's
fine.
Just
drop this. Is Sammy all right? I've only met her once.
They
fine.
scraped her up off the floor.
No, right. It was described to me as like when we did the first show of Bears with Knives, Barlow just said that there'd been an accident, so Sammy was stuck on trains, and he didn't. He said trains, so I assumed there would be an incident with trains, and that Sammy couldn't get home in time. But either way, Sammy is okay. I have spoken to her since, and I spoke to her on that day. But we are doing a very special Bears with Knives show on the 11th, so Sammy can actually take part in the Bears with Knives before Halloween.
Okay, yeah, fair. Look forward to promoting that. Yeah, we've got a few new shows coming out, but we'll talk about that on probably the next one when it's a bit closer to the time. And that is everything from me. And Marcus.
Yeah, just check out all the shows on the network. You can find me as usual nowhere. Don't look for me, but support the network. It's fantastic with lots of amazing shows. I listened to Into the Verse. Loved every single episode. Treehouse, I think I'm pretty much up to date on listening to everything now. So check them out. They're great.
Sorry, Marcus.
It's okay.
Sorry for putting you through the treehouse.
No, I love horror stuff.
I like listening to it. I haven't actually listened to that much recently. I've been struggling with just time in general. You can probably see how tired I look.
Halloween,
Yeah.
The Halloween cartoon special episode was particularly very good because I like cartoons and I love Courage the Cowardly Dog, and it's talked about a lot. So
We love it.
Yeah, so go give us likes, reviews, etc., etc., etc. Chew me up. Do you want to chew me up and spit me out, Marcus? And
oh yeah, chew me up and spit me out, and we'll catch you next time on the Gaming Manifesto.
see ya.
Bye.
Now, for anyone still watching on YouTube, you get this extra spicy few seconds while I look for that stop button.
Hey,
See ya
everybody.
later.
How's it going?
This is behind the scenes YouTube.
It is.
It is behind the scenes. Chew,
Found it. So goodbye.
So, Craig, are you going to tell everyone your real name eventually?
Sorry. No! Why would you? No, you
I
were
know
supposed
about
to be
it.
like this. Bandit!
That's fine. I just